Kind of an update. This is looking really pretty because we've had so much rain. We've had so much rain the last week. And so everything's looking really lush. My Peggy Martin rose is climbing. And as soon as we get our house painted, I'll start training it over the kitchen window here. I'm just not doing that quite yet because I know we're about to get it painted, which it will be an exciting update that I can't wait to share. And this is a Anthony Waters Spirea. It blooms pink. I love it. The agapanthus has now kind of the blooms are all spent and have gone to seed. This kaleidoscope Abelia is looking really, really pretty. Okay, this is it's like an ornamental blueberry bush right here. And when the new growth comes out, it's so pretty. There's different shades of purple, pink, green, and it's got this like really pretty iridescent quality. And I don't know that you're really supposed, I mean, these aren't gonna like be as big as the blueberries that you get at the grocery store, but I still like to eat them because I think it's just cool and they taste good. Okay, so I've recently just situated this little drift rose right here, and then there's another one right there that I took up from their little spots in the garden. So I just have different things sitting around right now, but I want to get a good view of these gray owl junipers. If you'll come over this way and kind of get a view of them and how they contrast with the hollies, I would love that because I just think they are gorgeous. I just love their silvery gray foliage, and it just makes it pop even more that these hollies are just so glossy and green. All right, you want to move over this way now? All right, so the purple coneflower is still doing really good, and I've got tons of pollinators all over this side of the garden. And then I've got my blue star juniper that I love. Now I'm thinking about doing something different in this space right here. All right, so it's not been that long ago since I put in this big bottle brush, and I just stuck in 3 camellia shishi kind of in an arch on the side here, and I'm thinking about taking these up and actually planting them over here in this bed right here under this Japanese maple tree. And the reason is I've already got a bed of shishi sasanqua under this Japanese maple tree that I put in right when I started doing this garden in 2014. And I lost like 2 of the shishis over the years. So I have some spots that I could fill in with another shishi, and I also think I might take one of these Abelia and move it behind this bottle brush, giving me an arch Abelia in this bed, and then use this spot for annuals, if that makes sense. So just a little bit of reconfiguration is what I'm gonna do. Okay, now let's move along this way. Oh, and I have some Japanese maple trees in this garden. We've taken out a lot of trees, and slowly I have been adding trees of my choice into the garden. This one went in 2014, and I love it. and I don't know what variety it is, so I know I have somebody who's going to know what variety this is. So will you get a picture of these leaves so that somebody can leave in the comment section if they know what variety this Japanese maple is? And the leaves in the fall turn an orangey red, yellowy, and it's a small leaf, and this is probably about a 10 to 15 feet high and about 7-8 feet wide. Now, hummingbirds love this purple plant. They love it. Oh, my hummingbird is back too, by the way. And these Pittosporum also went in 2014. And let me tell you a little story about these. So I went through a while where I didn't come out and do a whole lot in the garden, and probably a couple of years before quarantine. And so these got really long and leggy. They would have leaves on the end of the branches, and the branch would just be bare. So I chopped them all the way back. Like, they looked awful, awful, awful. But then within 6 months, they filled in really, really well. But look, let me show you like an example. All right, like this branch right here has all these leaves on the end and nothing on the branch. So what I'm going to do is continually come in and give them a haircut. And what that'll do is it'll force growth down on these stems here. And what I want is for this to be a very tight ball, a very tight sphere, and for it to fill out. So I'm going to continue, but I had to make them look horrible and hideous to bring them, to make them flush back out. Now, another one of my trees that I put in last year is this orange flame Japanese maple. So in the fall, I still have yet to see, I think it's had one fall in this garden. And it was so small at that time that, you didn't really get huge impact from the leaves. So this fall, I am going to be excited to see what these leaves will do. And in the winter, when this tree is dormant, I'm going to come in and I'm going to limb it up a little bit and shape it up a little bit, because it's in this spot right here between these two variegated Pittosporum, and I need for it to be more in a tree form. Now, we're coming to a really ugly spot, and that is, it's not done yet. I'm going to work on this spot. But this is kind of like a storage area. And so, anyway, this is not a very pretty spot, but it's where I store pots and my chairs and things like that when I'm not using them. Now, I want to talk about these Pittosporum. These are the regular kind of Pittosporum, and you know what I love so much is these might come off initially as like a boring, not anything really, really spectacular, but I did the same thing with these. They were really long and leggy with bare stems, and I came in and I just totally cut them all the way back, and now they have filled out so beautifully. And I love these so much because if they are healthy and if they're taken care of, they're a great specimen plant. So that's what these are going to be, is a specimen. And you notice that I am not coming in the middle of these plants and trimming anything in the middle, because I want them to grow together and become one large arc-shaped Pittosporum that will be in a tight arch. And as you walk down this path, you will literally be encased with a wall of green Pittosporum. And so that is my plan, and I need to come in and do some really shaping, because I've got some limbs that are wayward, but I just believe that this will be beautiful. And I love how the new growth has a different color than the old growth, and it just, to me, this Pittosporum has great texture. So something that may kind of initially seem plain in the garden, it really can end up being a very pretty specimen. Now, I came in and I cut this path with my lawnmower last week, but we've gotten so much rain that it is just growing back. So I got to come in and I need to edge and cut again. So my hummingbird, I've also seen him over here. I have 2 hummingbird feeders for him. He likes this vitex. The pollinators just love the vitex, and the hummingbird loves his little hummingbird feeder. All right, come over here, Ryan. Now, in the previous video where I worked on the south-facing bed, I mentioned a plant called Duranta. This is a Duranta right here. And it has become, I mean, it's just been for a while one of my favorite plants for its foliage. It has no blooms, but look at this vivid, bright chartreuse little leaf on it. This one I've let go wild. So if I wanted to, I could trim it into a ball, into a sphere, and it gives you a wonderful contrast with the other plants around. It's just such a bright green. Okay, now we're almost to the end of our garden tour for today, but I wanted to show y'all just something that is just this shade garden is looking really, really nice. This Coleus, you guys, I think I bought it when it was literally in like a little 1-gallon container, probably from Lowe's or somewhere. And every year I'm reminded of how much I love Coleus. I mean, at this point, when I have it underplanted with some potato vine, and it's like just this wave of chartreuse, like just gorgeous. I love it. It makes me so happy. Okay, and then this Coleus right here, y'all, I will be very interested to hear what y'all have to say about Coleus in the comment section, okay? Because I can grow Coleus, y'all, as tall as me. Here in Zone 8B in Southeast Alabama, if I put this in the ground, it will, and I keep on deadheading the little blooms. I take the blooms off. I just pinch them off. It'll grow about as tall as me. Maybe about 5 feet tall by the end of the summer. And I don't think you can get a more beautiful, fun foliage plant than Coleus. I just love it. Okay, so, all right, let's show them the hydrangea too. The blooms are not as beautiful now as they were a couple of weeks ago, but this hydrangea is a year old and it has made a huge, stunning show over here in this garden this year. And I love this sedum right here that is overflowing out of the pot my brother bought me. Look at that. How fun is that? It's just gorgeous. It's spread all around the ground here, and when I first planted it, it was not anywhere coming out of that pot. It was just in this pot. But I've taken a few of the little clipping of it and put it in the ground and let it root, and so now it's just flowing out, and I love it. I think it's so pretty. Okay, we're moving back toward the kitchen garden, and I just want to show them what's going on right here very quickly. So I have a Francis Mason Abelia, which I think is my favorite Abelia. Come over here and get this. This is a Francis Mason, and I just want you to see why I love it so much. Do you see these red stems? They're beautiful, and the leaves are not variegated, and that's I just love it so much. And the leaf, to me, I don't know, it seems like it's bigger on the Francis Mason. It could just be that it looks bigger to me because it's not variegated. I don't know. Now, this is actually I think it's either a twist of lime or a Miss Lemon, and it also has red stems. But I don't know. I just love the Francis Mason Abelia. I love all Abelia. And this lantana was back behind my big kaleidoscope in the kitchen bed, and recently, like 2 days ago, I just moved it in here. And I like it right here, so for now it's gonna stay. All right, you guys, so this was just a kind of garden update tour for you. I hope y'all had a really nice 4th of July. Reese Cup has had a great 4th of July, and she's a little ham today. Reese Cup, do you have anything you want to say? Okay. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon.